Much for joining the club meeting. This club is designed to share our experience about everything that can be important for city residents. And today we will talk about the academic mobility experience. For instance, I have Erasmus Mundus program and Fulbright program experience. So we are happy to have you here. He will share his experience being enrolled in Fulbright program and Erasmus one.
Right.
Yeah, now I'm giving you
Floor.
yeah,
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me today and for inviting. It's my pleasure to share my experience and encourage people to participate in different events and projects that can literally change their lives. So today I'm going to talk about two programs where I participated and where I felt kind of, life-changing events that happened to me. And I would like to start with a program that is called Global Undergraduate Exchange Program, or UGRAD. And before I start, I will just talk briefly about me. So I'm a student at Summa State University, and I'm majoring in international economic relations. And also I like doing my last year at the uni, and I'm planning to apply for master degree later. And also I've been involved in different projects, activities in our city, right, and like across the country. And I've been participating in UGRAD and other mobilities program before, so I got an experience to talk about that. And before we start, I would like just to ask you, you can unmute yourself. Maybe you heard about something of this program, so it'd be nice if you also gonna share or even add me, or maybe you just encouraged to know about that. So yeah, if no, it's fine too, and you can just move to this program. Or we have a comment. Let me see first. Sorry. Yeah, can you help me to read them? Oh, okay. I see. Okay, great.
Yeah, it's me. I'm just checking that we can interact. Okay.
Yeah, great. Thank you very much. So, Global Undergraduate Exchange Program, right, is an international education and cultural exchange program that is sponsored by the U.S. Department of State and aims to bring future leaders to the United States in order to give them an opportunity to experience the educational system there and culture and value that they have. And in Ukraine, you may see here, right, this program is sponsored by the U.S. Department of State, but also by the U.S. Embassy in Ukraine. And special embassy, they actually has expanded the number of participants this year. And it's really great. So you have more chances to apply and be selected. And also it's also administrated by World Learning Organization, which is located in Washington, D.C., and they overseas, take everything about this program. So who actually can apply and be selected? So just keep in mind there's a merit-based competition, and it's not need-based. It means that you need to have particular criteria in order to be selected. So first of all, you have to be a citizen of Ukraine and currently resident and studying in Ukraine as a full-time university student at the undergraduate level. So it means you cannot participate if you are a master or PhD student, only undergraduate. You should be also over 18 years old, and while you're going to be already in the US. So if you're 17 now, right, but you want to apply, and you know that when you're going to be in the United States, you'll be 18, so you can do this. You also should have like good academic standing at a university in Ukraine, and this university, what status of this university doesn't matter. It could be public or private. Also, you shouldn't be enrolled in your final year of studies, and also it's better to be like in the second on the third, but better if you apply in the first, as I did, year of study. Also, you should have like a solid command or writing and spoken English. And like, I mean, I guess it's obvious thing because you would be needed to study and, you know, to communicate with professors, with your fellows there. And also, you should also be able to receive and maintain the student exchange visa, which is J1, not F1. J1 is specially designed for such students. And also committed to return back to your home country after the completion of the program, sorry. So when you complete your program, when you are done, you need to come back. You have to come back. There's no other way, so you can stay. And it was briefly about this. And also now I'm going to talk about 3 stages of selection process, which I passed and like anyone is gonna do. So first one is a big application form. It means that you need to put a very detailed data about you. So it started with you know, like general information like your full name, your birth, yeah, when is your birthday, right? When and also about your parents, where they work, what they do. So it's a big form, and you will see. Also, this form includes 2 essays that you need to write and 2 recommendation letters that you need to upload to incorporate basically into this form. And then also you need to attach the transcripts. And if you have, that's how actually the committee can see if you have a good standing or not. Then you need to wait like a few months or a month, it depends, each year. And then you might be selected to the interview. And it made a good sign. So you really prove that you are a good participant, so they can see and they want you, right? And on the interview, you schedule with your advisor, and then like, you know, at least 3 people can be present at the interview and they can ask you different questions. So you need to be also good in this. And then if everything is all right, you need to prove your knowledge of English, and they would ask you to take a TOEFL test in order to understand your level of language. And if everything is all right, my congratulations, you have been selected as a participant, and America is waiting for you to come and start in there. And so basically talking about my experience, I was a UGRAD student last year in 2019. My semester was spring one, and I was at the University of Houston, Victoria in Texas. They have been majoring in political science. It means they try to find the most, you know, suitable major for you. So basically, I studied international economic relations, but they found the most, you know, major can, you know, somehow be correlated with each other. And yeah, then you just study, you travel, you meet other people, your friends. And there I've done some statistics. So during my study there, I visited like 8 states. I've been to 12 cities, and you know, there are also some, you see, icons of those states. Yeah, and some more pictures, like meaningful pictures. For example, while you're there, you also need to complete the requirements. For example, you need to be a volunteer, and you need to complete 20 hours of volunteering experience. And for example, one of my part was like being like a representative of my culture, because anyway, when you go to the US, you become like an ambassador of your culture. So I just presented Ukraine. I was doing like a flash mob at the international festival. So it was my part of this volunteering thing. Also, I've been traveling, and for example, here in Hollywood, right? And there I've been like with my friends traveling, so I went to Austin. And also like a good thing about there that they have a very multicultural society. So you can meet people from various countries and states. For example, I had friends from, you know, Pakistan, Taiwan, India, Guinea Equatorial, and many, many others. So also this photo is is from the workshop in Washington, D.C., where all participants come together, and for like, I guess it was 4 days, right? You just together, and you have the different workshops on different topics, and and you communicate, and you have a lot of fun though. And that's how you meet people basically from around the globe, because in this program more than 60 nations, countries, can participate. And in this picture is also meaningful for me because so during my studies, I also participated like in volunteering kind of club at my university, and I went with my university to Biloxi and to Mississippi. There I completed like volunteering things, and like in the end, they like students can nominate different people on it's kind of like faculty award, sorry, or like a director award, something like this. And then they, the jury, they select, and I've been selected. So it was a very nice experience. I just came for 1 semester, but then I experienced everything. So that was actually very cool. So if someone is going to apply, if yes, I'm just going to give some brief advices about this. So like, and it could be, consider for any application forms, for any project that you want to apply or try to be there. So in your application form, you definitely need to say, like, you need to have a proper motivation, right? America is awesome, like everyone knows it, right? So you don't need to talk about this. You need to talk about very specific things, why you really want to go there. What's your main single motivation, like what's special about the US or about the education or about volunteering experience that you want to get there, right? And also you need to have like a professional email. I Krasavchik or Babachka 13, it's not really a good one, right? You need to have like at least like Wladislav.Shapovall or something like this, because like from the first glance that they can see if you're like a good participant, if you really want to participate, or you just like, oh, I'm gonna like apply for any projects and then got nothing. So like in this short, I believe you can see like, I think I will be an amazing applicant. You see like of course you're not a native speaker, but you also should consider like grammar mistakes and try to omit them. And if you still have, like, it's better to give someone to read, or at least like to your friend, so he can like proofread, or at least, I don't know, Google Translator or something like this. Because if you can see such very kind of obvious or very I would say like mistake that you can say easily, then maybe he is not a really good applicant for this. And try to submit like beforehand. Don't do it like, just 1 minute left and you think, oh, okay, I guess it's time. It's time where I need to submit. Now try to do it before, because anything can happen. Like the site could be a lot of users, like people can use it, and it's going to be kind of stuck. And never ask someone to write essay for you or like kind of things. This essay should depict you and your individuality at first, but like not your friend, not your mom, no one else knows you better than you do, right? So write by yourself. Of course you can do brainstorm. You can ask your friends, your parents, like maybe they can give you some ideas, but in the end you should be someone who will write this. And like, to be honest, right, to be yourself, like you don't need to be a very active person, because this program is very comprehensive and they consider anyone. If you haven't been like participating in different events, or been volunteering in million organizations, it's completely fine. You can talk about your experience that you've done, or how you think the US can influence on this experience and what can change. So it's also fun. And also, like, that's what I've told you basically. about the advices. Be specific, have a professional email, be honest, be yourself. Also, as I told, right, they don't like the committee, the jury, they don't look for perfect English speakers, but look for the people who are really motivated to do this, and who, after all, want to come and contribute to their communities, because it's kind of also the main thing. So you learn something in the US, and then you're coming back to your society, to your community, and you provide some changes there. Also, if you have a chance, you also could give it to like a native speaker to read, so he can not only correct like grammar mistakes, but some other things. So it'll also be great. And of course, act, because you like think, oh, it's cool, like I'm gonna do it. But then if you wouldn't start to do it now, so probably wouldn't start like even in the like tomorrow or after a few time. So yeah, it was all about this. I'm just gonna show you about useful links. So I'm gonna also leave this presentation so you can see. Yeah. And do you have a question about this? If no, we're gonna move then to another experience.
I think if nobody is asking questions, we can move to the Erasmus experience, right, Władysław?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So let's talk about then Erasmus. I believe this one is more heard, and people right, some at least once they heard this word Erasmus, but what that, right? So Erasmus, yeah, it's again me. So Erasmus, what's Erasmus? It's a program which is sponsored by the EU Commission, and is aimed to support education, training, youth, and sport in Europe. And like, for example, last cycle of the budget of the European Union, the budget of it was like 14.7 billion of euros. And it's already been providing experience and opportunities for over 4 million Europeans to study, train, and gain experience abroad. It's a very comprehensive program, and it's open to anyone. So organization, policymakers, individuals, and just, you know, different organizations, they can participate in this program, but under different case. And for example, like today we're going to talk about individuals and individual experiences and programs. I'm going to talk about key action 1 and what it actually offers to us as Ukrainians and what we can do with this. So as you see, it was like taken from the official website. So Erasmus Plus is open to many individuals and organizations, although eligibilities varies from one action to another and from one country to another. So Ukraine is under program countries, I believe so, and not everyone is able to participate under the rules, under the condition that the European has. So it very depends, and you need to carefully read the particular program. So as I said, there are a few actions, like key action, for example, 1, where I'm going to talk about today, mobility individuals, and the key action 2 is going to be about cooperation for innovation and exchange of good practices. Key action 3 is support for policy reforms. GMA activities, which is connected also with education and sport. Like, it's obvious what sport about. So key action 1, mobility of individuals. This is all about providing opportunities for individuals to improve their skills, enhance their employability, and gain cultural awareness. So any organizations, institution can apply for funding to run mobility projects, to offer structured study, work experience, job shadowing, training, and teaching opportunities to staff and learners. So, and it's also covers like 5 fields that they determinized, which is higher education, vocational education, training, schools, adult education, youth. For youth, there are bunches of programs. For higher educations, there are also opportunities for universities and higher institutions, and also like trainings for example, for youth workers and many, many others. So today we're going to talk about like youth exchanges and training course that I participated, but mostly I'm going to talk about like mobility exchange program I've been taking. So youth exchange and training course are designed for any youth, any participant from like program countries and European countries and some others. It depends on a particular program and particular condition that they have, requirements for participating. And as you see, it's like pictures from one of them. So for example, this one was in Georgia. We've been talking about like different youth activities, about different cultural, I would say, in differences, because we needed to present, for example, Ukraine in our case, from different, especially 3 sides, like sport, national activity, and then cuisine. So we've been cooking, we've been playing different sport activities, and then we also had like national, like it was kind of a competition, not mistaken about songs, something like this. Like also there are going to be like training courses. Like youth exchange, I would say like it's more light version because you have more fun there. But in training courses, you really learn. You learn more and more. And for example, this training course was in Barcelona, and we were talking about like tools that NGOs can use in their work for providing and talking about their visibility in the social media. So we learn like not everything, but like we covered a lot of things there. And such things are always good in the terms of team building, having fun. You meet different people, you practice your language, and it's always great. So I would everyone encouraged to participate at least once in such program. And there is a video also gonna leave this presentation, so if you want, you can see. And now about higher education students. So this semester, actually, I just came back from my Erasmus experience that was kind of expanded one predictable time. So I was an Erasmus student at the University of Houston, Victoria. Sorry, University of Almería. I'm still thinking about the United States. Yeah, University of Almería, Spain, and where I studied economics, which is more closer to my major, and where I also had a lot of fun, and especially this. Sorry, I'm gonna talk briefly about this. This program is specially designed for those who have partnership with the university. So in the UGRAD, it's more about you who want to apply. And the Erasmus Plus Mobility Exchange is like more about universities who have something to offer you. So fortunately, my university, which is Sumy State University, has partnership with different universities across Europe. So one of them is University of Almería in Spain, where I decided to, to experience the Spanish culture and education itself. And also, I just summed up a bit. I've been to 5 regions, 20 cities, and you can see flags of these also regions and cities there. For example, this is from my city, which is Almería, and it was kind of great. Yeah, and more pictures about traveling, and it's also like a great experience too, because you meet people as well from across from the all Europe, as well from other countries, because there are many like partnership countries, for example, from Morocco, Tunis, Palestine, Jordan, and you also have fun. But for example, I lived in the like a house. It was a big house, and it could included like up to 10 people there. So I've got to meet different nationalities, for example, British, Mexican, French, also Ukrainians, and Irish, yeah, Moroccan, someone else, I forgot already. Yeah, there were many, and it's something that's really great about Erasmus, that you're not only studying and you're also meeting people, like about any exchange programs. So I believe that's all about those experiences in a brief. If you have any questions, I would be glad to answer to them.
Okay, we have now questions and answer session for Vladislav, and then we will proceed with my experience. And I encourage you to ask questions, because the questions can be many.
Yes.
So I have a question.
Yeah. David?
So in terms of education, what would you say was the best experience, the USA or Spain, in terms of education quality?
Oh, wow. Okay. In education quality, I would say the S is better, because, well, I'm feeling that studying in Spain is it's harder, right? It's harder than in the US. I thought like the most hardest experience is going to be in the US, but in Spain it's much more harder. For like, on the one hand, because they don't give you like extra points, so you cannot really gain them. On the other hand, because they actually require to study a lot, and I also felt this hierarchy, because in the US people are more kind of like even they are professors, they're kind of closed, and they're really are ready to help you and assist with anything that you need. But in Spain, it's kind of, yeah, I can help you, but there's still like kind of a distance. So about the quality, I would say yes. Thank you for the question.
Okay, thank you for your answer. If anyone else want to ask. So again, thank you so much, Władysław. It was really.
I have a question.
Okay, Makita, thank you.
Thank you, Vlad, for your presentation. I know that after the United States, you studied for 1 semester in Ukraine and then went to Spain. Is it a requirement for exchange programs that you cannot spend 2 consecutive semesters on different exchange programs, or no?
No, we don't have such like requirement. I mean, if you're talking about requirement of 2-year residency, there is one. I mean, if you it's applied to any participant who is under J1 visa. It means that in the case if you really want to immigrate to the United States, you have to be in your country, or in your home country, at least 2 years before you do this. But I mean, no one can restrict you from any movement to any country. Am I understood it correctly?
I think yes. Влад, если после UGRAD ты мог сразу поехать по Erasmus, или ты должен был семестр быть в Украине?
No, I could just go directly. But I have to return. Yeah, I would have to return, and they need to like send me. Oh, Vlad is not in the US anymore.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your question.
Okay, we can proceed with questions.
Okay, I have any question. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm Han, and I want to ask you about your Erasmus experience. You've mentioned that you were there from February to January.
Right.
From June. Yes. And how you can comment the situation with coronavirus epidemic, and how you studied there, and what had happened?
Yeah, it was a very interesting experience to be an exchange student and stuck in the host country. So, I mean, it's really great at the point that, you can also put it in your resume and say, I survived in another country during this pandemic. So, it could show a flexibility at some point. But, yeah, it was a very interesting experience, because we didn't really understand what's going on, and we just okay, let it be. And of course the university tried to help us as much as they could. Like they all courses started to be like online, and like, I mean, here in Ukraine it was kind of light at the point that like Spain was one of the country who that was infected the most. So it was very strict. We couldn't even go out. I mean, just in case of emergency. And like, for example, my roommate, who is French guy, he was fined with 600 euros and for like being out. So yeah, it was kind of strict. And in the end, during the quarantine, like hopefully and fortunately, I've got a lot of roommates. So we, you know, making some traditions. We were making some traditions and some parties. For example, we had like movie nights on Fridays. So we were gathering together and watching some things. Or for example, we had a Porsche party, how we call it. We just, like your clothes just in your clothes, and you cannot do anything with this. So we just find our very fancy clothes and just put on them in order to feel, somehow different in this situation, just encourage ourselves. So it was a very interesting experience. Is that what you want to hear?
Yes, but I wanted to ask about you studied online, like in your rooms?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I study online at like my host university and at home university.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nicely done. Okay. So we can proceed with another presentation. If you have any questions to Vladislav, you can ask right now. If you have some questions that are still in a process of formalization, you can ask them later. So if anyone, okay. Okay, thank you so much. Today we have two participants, two speakers. I'm the second one. And let's say that my Erasmus was the first, and then I went to the United States. Do you see me okay? Like, do you see the slides?
Yeah, we do see.
Okay, thank you so much. So Erasmus was an amazing thing for me because it was unexpected. I was just moving, like I always do at the university, and some of my colleagues just asked me, "Did you apply for Erasmus?" And I said, "No, never." And they say, "Why not?" And it was such an ordinary question. I've never been asked that before. So I just went to Erasmus Plus site, and I found that there are plenty of opportunities for students, for masters, for postdocs, because I already had a PhD. So this is it. You can find anything for you being enrolled at Sumy State University. Hidden advertisement, sorry. But actually, if you're enrolled at the university of any other city or any other University of Ukraine which is a partner of Erasmus, I think you're going to be lucky to have the opportunity too. So the documents for postdoctorate are pretty much the same. I didn't find the documents for current goal, but I clearly remember that I already had CV, of course, and list of publications. You should have your passport. You should have the proof of your language skills, English, and in my case, that was French because I applied for the university that was in France. And of course, you should have the certificate. If you're applying for postdoc, you should have a certificate of your PhD, so of the previous degree that you obtained, and it should be translated, obviously, in English. But what do you think was the most important document you should gain for being enrolled in Erasmus? If you think about the letter of interest or the inviting letter, you're absolutely right. This is the maybe the point where people are stuck. What you could do, you can email a lot. So you just need to find the laboratory or host institution of your kind, of your research interest, and try to apply. Just try to email everyone. But try to avoid these biggest mistake that I revealed people do even with a big experience, come on, we all do this kind of stuff. So first of all, the biggest mistake you can do, not to let anyone to see your researcher cover letter. It's so partisan style of our nation, not to tell anyone that you're applying and not to let anyone to see your cover letter or anything. People who are not toxic, your friends who can support you, they can read and they can tell something. Especially if you find a native speaker in English, he or she will help you out. So what you should do, try to find another person who will support you. And of course, when you do a mailing thing, please do not talk about yourself, because you are not the most interesting person in the planet. Just think about that. The most interesting person in the planet is in front of you, somewhere there in France, in the most powerful laboratory of your research interest. So what you just try to put in a mail, that why you think they are so good, and that's how you are motivated to be there. Of course, you're not you do not just do it with respect, without with the adequate self-esteem. Do not put yourself in a coffee maker machine, okay? And this is the other mistake that you can do, that you should overestimate the laboratory in France, for instance, and you just can do self-sabotage to yourself. Because, of course, first of all, the most important is, why are you going there? What is the research interest of yours? In what way you're gonna change the world for better place? And then you should a little bit promote yourself. And self-sabotage means that you will be stuck in the middle of the process for several weeks or months, and then you say, it happens, this is not for me. Of course this was for you, but you should start a little bit earlier, like several months earlier. Okay, so this is how you do it. You're just emailing. Nobody is telling you this kind of simple secrets, but everyone knows that practicing, emailing, and then you have it. Then you have an email like, yeah, you should come. Of course, we're gonna host you. What you want, cover letter is okay, inviting letter, we will do that for you. And then you're there. Of course, it's everything about traveling experience, networking experience, research experience. You're gonna see beautiful cities of European Union, for instance. My favorite is Montpellier, where I actually stayed. But the most the most positive parts I gained from communicating with people. And this is the benefits to apply. This is actually the motivation for anyone to try and move forward. Of course, you're gonna have a new experience in research. Your research will be developed enormously. Now you know how to do, underline something. You just keep it in mind. You're gonna have a new competencies. It can be analytical, it can be linguistical. I have to learn French right now. Now I can speak 2 languages, right? You're gonna have your new communication skills, and you're gonna be more intercultural. You're gonna be multidimensional person right now. You're gonna find yourself so in such a diverse environment than you've never been before. Of course, this is network. You're gonna have a lot of contacts from Switzerland, France, the United States, UK, Finland, Germany, Spain, you name it. You're gonna have them, and they will be workable. This is not like a person who saw you once and forgot about your name. No, they're workable, they're operable, believe me. And you're gonna have a new teaching skills, because the teaching is different in France, in Ukraine, the United States. You can compare, and now you can be selective. You're gonna select the best practices. And of course, that actually was the pushing point for me to become a Fulbrighter. After Erasmus, I became stronger, maybe more confident, and I would say Fulbright, easy, let's apply. So this is kind of jumping mood that you should have in the beginning of your academic career, but I actually gained it like 10 years after. Anyway, the application and requirements are pretty much the same every single year. And for the Fulbright scholarship, you should put more efforts, a little bit more efforts. The research proposal should be like polished. So you can see that we're gonna have like online application. It's easy. You just fulfill all the forms like for several days. Oh, come on. Then you have a project statement, CV, bibliography, 3 letters of the references. You're gonna find them, believe me. References are the easiest part. But the project statement, this is what you should start right now. For Erasmus, for Fulbright, for anything. If you already have a PhD, you should find yourself motivated to move forward in your research. What is most interesting for you? What is your passion? What are you living for? This is the main question, and that can be a research question in the project statement. So the letter of invitation is not required, but it's really good to have one. So you see that the Erasmus is a little bit different. So for the Erasmus, you should have a letter and you're done. Everything is good. Your proposal is like, okay, I'm sorry. But for the Fulbright, the proposal statement is really need to be polished. And then if you will go through selection process, they will help you. I think there is a support from the Fulbright office. At least that was the case for me, because I found some contacts, they didn't work. And they said that, of course, we have a call for you from Purdue University. And this was my university that hosted me. So project statement, some structure you can see here in slides. I can share it with you after the presentation. It's quite familiar for those who are like scholars who are writing papers. I believe that it's already removed from Fulbright sites, because when we were searching for this kind of samples, like methodology sample or some kind of contribution sample, they were already removed. Because the competition now is so high that there will be no help for you anymore somehow. So you should know that there is a review process. For instance, the dates are already over, that you can put to 2020 now. So for instance, you're gonna have to put everything online, then gonna be a review process, and then if you was approved by reviewees, you're gonna have an interview. And in interview, it's like 10 or 15 minutes that will reveal all of your personal traits to maybe 6 or 8 people all around the table. It was like in the Hollywood movies, it's true. So people were just looking, staring at you, asking you questions, and you try to survive there. What you should do, I believe, that just, remove all your fears, forget about life obstacles, think about what you actually want to do. And this is your research proposal, I think. And of course, this was the best experience in my life, because this is the only chance to me to go to the United States. The trip is expensive for anyone from, let's say, low economy country like Ukraine. So the round trip flight will be funded. You will have a stipend to cover all the living costs. Believe me, everything will be like, everything is covered, and actually you can even keep some kind of money if you're smart. So you're gonna have one-time settling allowance. It's like the help for the very beginning, and you're gonna have the accident coverage. It's insurance that is covering only emergency cases. So for instance, if you have a flu, or if you have some toothache, it's not an emergency, you should pay out of pocket. So, but the professional allowance is beautiful. You can buy a computer, you can buy software for your research. So you just need to prove that this is like you have this need, and it's typical. So nobody will even have doubts on you. So it's good. So why you should try? Because when people are saying like you should be in the right place in the right time, it's every time is the right time, and they're always a right place for you. But for me, it was Purdue. Before that, I have no idea what is it. It's like I was having Columbia University in my mind, New York University, of course. We're gonna have like this and that, Massachusetts, of course, yeah, San Diego, and then they said Purdue. I said like, what kind of Purdue are we talking about? But that was like top 5 universities in the United States. I'm very ashamed, but this was one of the best. And that was the time for me, the best time in my life, doubling, because that was 150 years birthday year. They have someone. I was overfed by, Nobel Prizes, Pulitzer Prizes. Someone is coming, like Vincent Cerf is originally the inventor of the internet. And we're talking about Francis Fukuyama, like Francis Fukuyama, who is like this kind of Francis Fukuyama, like it's a book, and this is the man, and he's sitting like in front of me. We're talking about Steve Wozniak, who was the co-founder of Apple, and he, was just talking to us. We're talking about the Nobel Prizes in demography. So yeah, that was amazing events. You can go there, you can have that experience. It's not that simple, but not that complicated as people thinking. So of course you can step in something else, not just your research, because I stepped in big data research, I stepped in environmental climate change and something. We were talking about futurism. I'm like, oh my god, I can do it too. So you can expand your knowledge about a lot of fields of research. This is conferences, workshops and teachings, excellence in research writing papers, research collaboration all the time. And why we should do that, what is missing in our lives? I think we all students, we all knowledge seekers, and we just have to, we should have this access to the knowledge, the best databases, the best software, the best collaboration to make these opportunities open to other people. Because after I came back from the United States, I provided several webinars on bibliometric research, and now we are having like a boost of the research development at the Sumy State University. Not because of me, but because of the knowledge sharing. And of course, you're gonna have these beautiful events full of people from different nations, from different background, from different religion. And we're talking about enrichment seminars. It can be potlucks when you're exchanging some different styles of cooking. This is Ukrainian, this is Moroccan cuisine. We're talking about social events, trips, networking, which is, I think, the best part of being somewhere in academic mobility program. And I would say that this is this is like mind-blowing experience, I'm sorry, and this is kind of life-changing experience. And once a Fulbrighter is always Fulbrighter. See, we just found each other. This is like typical for being enrolled in some kind of events. We just made a photo, and then we revealed that 3 of us are Fulbrighters. This is Alex Fisher. He came from the United States. I came from the United States like a month before. And this is Rima Milenkova. She won a next round of a Fulbright scholarship. So this is how the life goes on. And now you can do anything. Actually, you always can do anything. But if you have some kind of competences, growth opportunities, you just need to grab them and use. And now I'm doing some consulting in strategic development, which I think I'm able to, because the strategy management was my major when I was studying. I was enrolled at Purdue University. And this is pretty much it. If you are with me, I'm ready to answer your questions. If you have any questions, how to enroll, how to write CV, how to apply, how to, I don't know, to go through interview, I'm here to answer any questions. I see my colleague Pani Lyubov Zharova here. Hi. Do you have any questions?
Actually, I'm very interested in the topic.
Yeah.
And would like to find something new for as a recommendation for our students.
Okay. Yeah, it's great. We are recording, and I will share the link with you.
Yeah, thanks, because we only established our initial programs, and this year we have collapsed two programs because of COVID. So
Yeah.
we postponed them.
Yeah, we have the same. We postponed several programs, but I think it's gonna work. It's gonna work next year.
I hope so.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Anyone?
So if you have questions also to me, I can answer to them. I
Yeah.
guess gonna be like a common question around. But like also like, would you compare France system and US system? Which one would you prefer?
System of education or system of entertainment?
Education.
I would prefer the United States.
Yeah.
Actually, the United States was I think, the best example of how it should work. France seems like our Ukrainian system, where people are motivated, but not, how to say it, they're not pushed. They're not pushed. You can do, you cannot do, this is up to you, kind of very flexible and soft. In the United States, all students are competitive. They are like fighting for this score. They're fighting for the best knowledge. They are staying at campus till the midnight. They're staying in the campus through the all nights, before doing any tests. So for me, it was tremendous. I thought, actually, I had this competition with some students from the country I'm not going to name. So when I was leaving, you know them, right? So they're so productive. They're so hardworking that when I was leaving at 1 a.m., they were still working.
Oh, wow.
They were still working.
Wow.
The students are competitive. They're hardworking. They're doing the best job. And in France, it's like, come on, you're gonna do that next year. And maybe because of that, because the French system is social system like we do. They have a scholarship and they do not pay a lot of money for the education.
Yeah.
Maybe because of that.
Can you change something, for example, in some university to create this competitiveness?
I'm so sorry, Professor Zharova, I didn't hear your question well. Could you repeat that?
Yeah, I will try. Maybe it will be better.
Yeah.
Can you, or will you try to do this competitiveness in SUME? Because it's interesting. It's also tremendous for me because we're like trying to implement this United States approach to education, but it's really very hard to create this competitiveness between students. They just think that, okay, I will take it next year, no problem.
Okay, nice, very, very nice question, because this is kind of research interest of mine. So I truly believe in competition as the combination of cooperation and competition. We need to compete for the best practices, for the best knowledge, but we should cooperate with each other to create something new. So I would not recommend to create artificial competition between students, but to create some healthy competition during very, projects with strict deadlines, not through the whole year when they are hating each other, but, like very short projects when they need to compete and to admire each other at the same time. Because we need to understand who are the best player in the market, to be united with the best player in the market, not to eat each other, because I think we had this competition in a bad way. We are very opportunistic. So first, I think that the first stage for us is cooperation at very healthy level, and then competition at very healthy level.
Yeah, it could be a clue, but actually sometimes it's really difficult. And because actually our students have like very different expectation about the process. I don't know, because maybe we have like very highly mixed students from a lot of countries, and sometimes they're just not ready to compete. They just try to like take this minimum efforts and receive their grades.
Yeah, but sometimes I think that minimum efforts, it's very, very entrepreneurial skill. This is how France have the highest wages. Can you imagine that? They're not the most hardworking people. They having the most highest wages in Europe. But no, compare it to the Germany, the first place, maybe the second, and then France is coming. And they have the shortest week among all the countries. So I think this is kind of an anecdote and a very good joke in terms of economic, decisions. But we just need to find our own way how to put minimum efforts, and to win in the end.
I agree, because as we know, only 20% of our efforts give us 80% of our wage.
Yeah, Pareto effect. Yeah, it will work. I think it will work.
May I add to this?
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah, I've been thinking also like it's something that is in mentality, something that you not can really create, or it just takes time, because like it's everything about competition. It's not about education, it's also about work. It's even about, maybe private life or whatever. But like basically this competitiveness comes like from the childhood. They like taught to be like this. So in order to have such environment here in Ukraine, it also should be like a part of character. But we also have other parts of our mentality, so we don't want to do. So we're trying to find other ways how we can, substitute this. So we can try to do also with this. But also should be competition, because competition leads to the better results.
Yeah, agree totally. Okay, guys, can I say that this is a closing remark for our club meeting.